We have a supplementary. Member for Moresby North-East, what's your supplementary?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. It might be supplementary because I got a question in relation to the same thing. That is census, common roll update, NID, and biometric. So since the Prime Minister is answering 1/3 of it, I think I can also put my supplementary to him so that he can also answer.
Then you want to ask, so anyway, I already given you the floor. Please continue on your question.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I also want to commend the Minister for Administrative Services on the census. And now we know that the population of this country is 10 million plus. Okay, this is for the budgetary purpose of this country. Since we have got 14 months away from the national election to exercise our democracy of voting in 2027. Out of the total population, 18 years and above will be recorded as eligible voters. And then we have got NID coming. And NID looks like the bank and other institutions consider NID as one of the reference of ID card. Even as a member, I went to bank and said, you got an NID. So it is also important. And then we want to come to biometric voting system. The question here, I want to ask the Minister or Prime Minister, is that do we have enough time if we don't consider common roll update at this time? We know the total population already, but how are we going to separate 18 years and above so that we are going to election within the 14 months? So my question is to Prime Minister is that if biometric is used in other parts of the province, like NCDC might be easy, or other provinces, but we are one country, we want uniformity kind of election process. So any budget that might be allocated for biometric, because I personally think that biometric will won't work because we got 14 months. And NID, they said come next week.
Honourable Member, we have a point of order from the Minister. Minister, what's your point of order?
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I think the question should be directed to me to give some justice to the response. So I'm just asking.
Honourable Minister, it's at the prerogative of the member who is asking the question. He directed the question to the Prime Minister, so I'll allow him ask the question, and he asked that you, Minister, responsible to take note, so you can take note of what he asked. So, Honourable Member, you continue on your question.
Thank you, my brother Minister. Take note of that because Prime Minister already answered 1/3 of it. So I better continue. Okay, we got NID. Every morning you go to this PDC or this telecom place, you see everybody lining up. And they lining up almost 8 months, 9 months without getting the NID. What's the kind of process we are using? If NID is not completed and you're talking about biometric, how is it going to work? And then the common law. Prime Minister, for the sake of this country, for the sake of common roll update before the election 2027, any budget for this biometric should consider for 2026 common roll update so that we can be prepared for 2027. My question is, 2027 is almost 14 months. So I'm glad to ask the Minister, take note, the Prime Minister, to any budget allocated for biometric should be used for 2026 common role update so that we can be prepared for 2027 election. That's number one. Number two, the NID, if it's not completed, what's the term of reference or ID card that will be used for all our voters in 2027? Some seminar come, number three. You may all get a by go vote common role supplementary because Samla by die, Samla by head on. 18 months so we can use a supplementary list that will be guided by the DDA or the council, vote council as we spoke about. Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
All right, thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I want to say thank you to the member for Moresby North-East for asking a series of questions that relates also to the first question being asked. But I want to firstly from the outset give full assurance that we will work our best to make sure 2026 is used as a year to prepare for a better voting platform in 2027. Promise to our nation after 2022 election still stands that in 2027 we want a better voting platform. I think it was yesterday when I responded to a similar question asked that we intend to make sure that common role, in the midst of what we do, common role is tidy. Mr. Deputy Speaker, I want to indicate to this Parliament and to the country that see our investment in an updated census that we started last year as part of the work in giving a platform that is more reliable for our 2027 elections. At a trusted data established at a census, it now establishes, and the census also tells us the age of our people. The reference point was 16th June 2024. So if someone was 17 at 16 June 2024, then at 16 June 2025, that same person is now 18. So the population database through the census gives us a basis in which we establish the reference point of any other population-related activities going forward. And as part of our overall act of cleaning up, a weakness that we've carried in our system. Studies and the Commonwealth Observation Report from a couple of elections they've run, as well as our own Parliament bipartisan committee on, special parliamentary committee on the review of 2022 national general elections headed by Governor Baird. All these have affirmed and looked at the deficiency we've carried. Key amongst those deficiencies is the integrity of the common role, and then the process that is geared to it. So I do acknowledge common role is an issue. I appreciate the ask by the member. Do you have time to deliver biometric? Do you have time to deliver NID? To complement an update of the common role so that as we arrive in 2027, something that I want us as a group of leaders to establish for our country, at the earliest is one person, one vote. So the sanctity of his Section 50 right is really is able to be he or she has at the polling booth. We have a system because it's manual, and time in the Highlands, for instance, one-day polling is practically unfeasible. One-day polling is practically unfeasible. So in a mad rush to get everyone to vote, the Highlands voters have now designed a system where they sort of agree on who they vote. I give you one example to myself, my own village of Paipeli in Hela province. Someone, if you go through all the results since 2002, I contested. I don't collect 100% vote from that village, although it's my village of traditional village of population registry, where my house is, where my family live. There always a certain percentage who don't vote for me. But because it's a short time voting, The tribes in the highlands have galvanized the voting process where they decide on who they want to vote a day or two earlier. And then when the paper arrives, then they said, those who want to vote someone else, you vote. Those who want to vote the major candidate from the village will vote. So I think we need to move past this one. Technology can assist, ID can assist. Because we security conscious and time bound, they do it in one day. We want to arrive where it's not rushed. They're able to, because it's ID based, they could sit down, take a day or two or three. Like we do it in the coastal provinces, you can vote for up to a week. So long as that one person knows when his or her moment to vote arrives, no one can tamper with the process. He or she goes to the voting polling booth, picks up his or her paper, he's identified or her identified, and cast the vote of their choice. I can tell you, if we go through this process, two members in this House from the Highlands, or from the Southern Highlands rather, and Hela, the Honourable Member for Yalupangi and the Honourable Member for Taripori will come back easily, quickly, first past the word, as we've done many times. We are both favorites in our respective electorates. But we've always been tainted, and I have my personal interest. My leadership has always been tainted with the view that voting was done improper. And for all of us, so we want to do it properly, and sort of voting in 2027. If someone decide to run, then voting in 2027 could be a better place than the past election we held. So I want to appeal to all of us. We're looking in our team, and Governor's Bed Committee will be very much part of this process. So it is a bipartisan approach. Governor Bed and his team have the report. They've indicated to us, what are you doing with the report? That's a correct line of reference for government to be in haste and responsive. Governor Bed's committee will be part of the process right through. So we check, make sure that the work we want to do is delivered, and it becomes a bipartisan approach leading to 2027. NID, biometric, common role update will be very much part of the discussion. I ask all of us in the 2026 budget that comes up, let's allocate quite a good resource for that place to be resourced to enter those activities next year. And some changes happening. All of us will take note of some change. The Electoral Commission Appointment Committee sat down and met. The incumbent has reached his retirement age, and so we're getting into the process of filling in new leadership in the place. And when it is filled, we hope next year a heap of activity happens. As a minister designated to be supervising these activities on a day-to-day basis to make sure the intention of this parliament gets to be progressed and we arrive in a better voting environment and platform in 2027. Good question, Member for Moresby North-East. I give you my assurance. We will do our absolute best to make sure the 2027 election is far, far better in terms of preparation than the last election or the years before. Thank you.